I look at you, and I see a corpse that still breathes, a person who has mistaken safety for existence. You are not resting or finding yourself. You are actively decomposing in a velvet coffin of your own making because you are terrified of the friction required to actually be alive. You have spent your entire life building walls to keep out pain, only to realize that those same walls have kept out the air, leaving you to suffocate in a stagnant pool of your own cowardice. The conflict you feel is not a result of stress or bad luck, but the direct consequence of your will being paralyzed by the fear of its own power. You claim you want change, but every cell in your body is addicted to the predictability of your misery, because in that misery, you don't have to take responsibility for your results. Sixah, you are locked in a civil war where one part of you begs for liberation, while the other part, the louder part, strangles your potential to protect you from the risk of failure. This suffocating comfort you cherish is not a sanctuary. It is the manifestation of your refusal to be born as an individual. The problem is not the world, your boss, or your upbringing, but the fact that you use these external factors as a shield to avoid the terrifying act of self-assertion. You are the architect of your own prison, and you are currently sitting in the corner of your cell, polishing the bars because you are too afraid of what you might have to do if the door were actually open. 1. The seduction of the womb. Why you crave stagnation. You spend your days seeking a state of equilibrium, a peace that is nothing more than a psychological return to the womb. I see you retreating into your routines, your screens, and your safe conversations, hoping that by minimizing risk, you can somehow cheat the tax that life demands from the living. You want the rewards of a hero's journey without ever leaving the house, oblivious to the fact that the womb is only life-sustaining for a fetus. For an adult, it is a tomb. This craving for comfort is a biological echo of your first trauma, the trauma of birth. And you have spent every year since then trying to crawl back into a state of dependency. You find a job that asks nothing of you, a partner who doesn't challenge you, and a lifestyle that demands no growth, thinking you have achieved stability. In reality, you have achieved a form of pre-death where nothing happens and nothing is felt. You think you are being smart by avoiding stress, but you are actually practicing for the grave. Life is a process of constant separation, an endless series of births where you must leave behind the old self to inhabit the new. Yet you cling to the old like a parasite. You fear the cold of the outside world, the judgment, the effort, the uncertainty. So you wrap yourself in the warm blankets of mediocrity until your muscles atrophy and your mind dulls. The comfort you feel right now is the sound of your potential being silenced. It is the silence of a house where no one lives, a garden where nothing grows, and a heart that has forgotten how to beat for something greater than its own safety. You are not comfortable. You are sedated. You have traded your autonomy for a sense of security that is as thin as paper and as fragile as glass. Every time you choose the easy path, you are telling your unconscious that you are not capable of handling reality. This reinforces a deep-seated sense of inferiority that no amount of self-help or positive thinking can fix, because it is based on the hard evidence of your own inaction. You are building a resume of cowardice, and your psyche is keeping track of every single time you folded when you should have stood up. I watch you choose the same meal, the same route, and the same thoughts, and I see a person who has given up on the project of being human. Being human requires the exercise of the will, the forceful projection of your internal world onto the external. But you have reversed the flow. You let the world dictate your boundaries, and you call that contentment. because it's easier than fighting for a territory of your own. This stagnation feels good in the short term because it demands nothing, but it is a slow-acting poison that kills your spirit by inches. You are losing the ability to feel anything at all, as the peaks and valleys of a real life are flattened into a gray, endless plain. You are avoiding the pain of growth, but in doing so, you are inviting the much deeper existential pain of regret that will eventually consume you. You are terrified of the shock of reality, so you stay in the lukewarm water of your habits until you are boiled alive without noticing. There is no such thing as a safe life that is also a meaningful life. Meaning is found in the friction between what you are and what you could be, but you have eliminated all friction to avoid getting burned. The irony is that the more you seek comfort, the more anxious you become. Because deep down, you know you are unprepared for the inevitable storms of life. By avoiding small challenges, you have ensured that you will be destroyed by the first real crisis that comes your way. You are a ship that refuses to leave the harbor, unaware that ships rot much faster in the stillness of the docks than they do in the salt of the sea. You tell yourself you are waiting for the right time to start living, but time is the one thing you are burning to stay warm in your nest of comfort. Every minute you spend being comfortable is a minute you are not being born. You are stuck in a state of perpetual gestation, waiting for a push that will never come unless you provide it yourself. Your comfort is a lie you tell yourself to avoid the guilt of wasted talent. It is easier to believe that you are chilling than to admit that you are terrified of testing your limits. You are hiding in the shadows of your own life, hoping that if you stay quiet enough, life won't notice you and won't demand anything from you. But life is demanding something from you right now. It is demanding that you die to your current self so that you can be reborn as someone who actually exists. This death is painful, yes, but it is the only way to escape the slow rot of your current existence. You cannot have the life you want while clinging to the safety you have. You are addicted to the safety of the known, even if the known is a miserable, cramped little room. You would rather be certain of your unhappiness than uncertain of your joy. This is the ultimate self-sabotage, the refusal to move, because the ground you're standing on is at least familiar, even if it's sinking into a swamp. I want you to feel the weight of your wasted days. I want you to feel the suffocating pressure of all the things you didn't do, all the words you didn't say, and all the risks you didn't take. That pressure is the only thing that can break the shell of your comfort and force you out into the world where you belong. Stop pretending that your peace of mind is a virtue. It is a symptom of your withdrawal from the battle of existence. You are a draft dodger in the war of life, and the cost of your desertion is the loss of your soul. The more comfortable you are, the more you are already dead. It's time to decide if you want to be a monument or a living being. 2. The fear of the will. Your terror of being powerful. You are afraid of your own will because if you truly exercised it, you would have no one left to blame for your life. I see you pretending to be helpless, pretending to be a victim of circumstances, because it grants you the comfort of innocence. If you are a victim, you don't have to be a creator. And if you aren't a creator, you don't have to face the terrifying possibility that you might create something mediocre or fail entirely. The will is a destructive force before it is a creative one. It must destroy the expectations of others and the safety of the status quo to make room for your individual reality. This scares you. You would rather fit in and be miserable with the group than stand out and be responsible for yourself. You have traded your individual will for a collective script, acting out a role that was written by your parents, your society, and your fears. When you say, "I can't," what you almost always mean is, "I am afraid to will it." You have built a sophisticated internal legal system to justify your paralysis. You cite your upbringing, your finances, or your personality type as reasons why you cannot act. These are not reasons. They are defense mechanisms designed to protect you from the guilt of being an independent agent in the world. To assert your will is to separate yourself from the herd, and separation feels like death to the ego. You fear that if you become who you truly are, you will be abandoned. So, you remain comfortable in your conformity, making yourself small and palatable so that no one will ever have a reason to leave you. You are killing yourself to ensure you aren't left alone. But the real abandonment is the one you are committing against yourself. Every time you suppress an impulse to act, to speak, or to create, you are abandoning your own soul. You are teaching your unconscious that your desires don't matter, and that your will is a dangerous animal that must be kept in a cage. Over time, the animal stops roaring and starts dying. You think that by not choosing, you are staying safe. But not choosing is the most definitive choice of all. You are choosing to be a leaf in the wind, a passive observer of your own tragedy. So you are giving up your primary human right, the right to create your own meaning, because you are too cowardly to handle the weight of that meaning once it's created. I see you waiting for inspiration or permission, but these are just delays. Inspiration is the reward for the work of the will, not the prerequisite for it. Permission is something you take, not something you are given. By waiting, you are asserting a will to fail, a will to remain in the comfort of potential, rather than the discomfort of reality. Your self-sabotage is actually a perverse form of will. You are using your energy to ensure that nothing changes, because change requires you to inhabit a new space where you don't know the rules. You would rather be a master of your own small, dark room than a novice in a bright, open field. You are working very hard to stay exactly where you are. This will to not will is the root of your depression and your anxiety. Anxiety is the vibration of a suppressed will trying to break free. It is the energy of a creator who refuses to create. When you don't use that energy to build your world, it turns inward and begins to eat your own mind. Your panic attacks are just your will screaming for air. You are terrified that if you start, you won't be able to stop, or that you'll discover you're not as talented as you hoped. You prefer the comfort of the fantasy, where you are a secret genius, over the discomfort of the reality where you are a struggling beginner. You protect your ego by never putting it on the line, but a protected ego is a hollow one. To truly live, you must accept the guilt that comes with assertion. But you must be willing to be wrong, to be difficult, and to be different. You must be willing to hurt the feelings of those who want you to stay the same. If you are not causing at least some discomfort in your environment, you are not exercising your will. You are just participating in a mutual suicide pact of politeness. I am telling you that your niceness and your agreeableness are just masks for your fear. You aren't a good person because you never cause trouble. You are just a fearful person who lacks the courage to have an opinion. A person without a will is not good. They are just a tool for someone else's will. Stop looking for a map. The map is created by the walking. Your obsession with knowing the outcome before you start is just another way to stay in the comfort of the starting line. You want to guarantee that the risk will be worth it, but the worth is generated by the risk itself. The discomfort you feel when you think about taking charge of your life is the feeling of your birth muscles flexing. It should be welcomed, not avoided. If you don't feel that tension, you aren't growing. You are just expanding like a gas to fill a void. You are currently a ghost in your own life, haunting the hallways of what if and someday. The only way to become flesh and blood is to will something into existence. To say, I want this, and I will take the consequences of pursuing it. Until you do that, you are just a collection of memories and fears pretending to be a person. Your will is the only thing that can bridge the gap between the void and the world. If you refuse to use it, you stay in the void. Yet you might be comfortable there, but don't be surprised when you look in the mirror and see nothing looking back. 3. The guilt of existence, the debt you refuse to pay. Every breath you take is a debt to the universe that you are refusing to pay back through the act of living. You feel a constant, nagging sense of guilt, not because you've done something wrong in the legal sense, but because you are committing the ultimate sin, the sin of non-existence. This is existential guilt, the weight of the life you are not living, and no amount of distraction or comfort can make it go away. You try to drown this guilt in mindless consumption, in endless scrolling, or in the comfort of being busy with tasks that don't matter. But in the quiet moments before you fall asleep, the guilt finds you. It whispers that you are a fraud, shouted that you are wasting a miracle, and that you are essentially a tenant who has stopped paying rent but refuses to move out. You are afraid that if you truly start living, you will owe the world something. You fear the responsibility that comes with being a fully realized individual. So you stay small, thinking that if you don't take up much space, the bill for your life won't be so high. But the bill is the same regardless of how much you live. The only difference is whether you have anything to show for the expense. This guilt is actually a call to action, but you treat it like a disease. You want to cure your feelings of inadequacy instead of realizing that they are the correct response to your current lifestyle. You feel inadequate because you are currently inadequate to the task of your own potential. The discomfort is not a glitch. It is the alarm system of your soul. You use your comfort as a way to hide from the debt of your birth. To be born is to be separated from the whole, to become a distinct I. This separation creates a fundamental tension, a fear of life, because life requires you to be a separate, vulnerable entity. You are trying to resolve this tension by disappearing back into the whole, into the crowd, into the routine, into the numbness. But you cannot undo your birth. You can only choose between two types of pain, the pain of growth or the pain of decay. By choosing comfort, you are choosing decay, and the guilt you feel is the smell of that rot. You are guilty of being a coward, and no one, not a therapist, not a friend, and certainly not me, can absolve you of that except yourself. You are waiting for someone to give you worth, but worth is not a gift. It is a byproduct of assertion. You feel worthless because you haven't done anything worth doing. You have spent your energy on self-preservation instead of self-creation. You have prioritized the survival of your body over the expression of your spirit. I see you looking for meaning, as if it's a hidden treasure you might find under a rock. Meaning is not found. It is forged. It is the result of the will clashing against the resistance of the world. Because you avoid resistance, your life is inherently meaningless, and that meaninglessness is the source of your deepest suffering. You think you are suffering from anxiety, but you are actually suffering from unlived life. The energy you don't use to create your reality doesn't just disappear. It turns into a corrosive acid that eats away at your self-esteem. You are comfortable on the outside, but you are being hollowed out from the inside. This guilt is also tied to your fear of death. Because you haven't really lived, the idea of death is terrifying. If you had truly spent yourself, if you had poured your will into the world, death would be a natural conclusion, the falling of a leaf after a full season. But because you are still a bud that refuses to bloom, death feels like a theft of something you haven't even used yet. You are keeping your life in a pristine, unopened box, thinking you are saving it. But life is a perishable good. By the time you decide to open the box, you will find that the contents have spoiled. The comfort of the box has destroyed the very thing it was meant to protect. You need to stop apologizing for your existence and start justifying it. This doesn't mean being successful by society's standards. It means being successful by the standards of your own will. It means creating a reality that reflects your internal truth, regardless of the cost. The discomfort you feel when you stand up for yourself or when you pursue a selfish goal is the feeling of your individuality being born. People call it guilt, but it is actually the birth pangs of the self. You must be willing to endure that guilt to become a person. If you only do what makes everyone else happy, you aren't a person. You're an appliance. Your comfort is a form of spiritual bankruptcy. You are living on credit, borrowing time and resources without producing anything of value. Eventually, the collector comes. The collector is the mirror, the midlife crisis, or the deathbed realization that you were never actually here. I want you to be haunted by your potential. I want the thought of what you could have been to keep you up at night until the comfort of your current bed becomes unbearable. Only when your bed becomes a bed of nails will you finally have the motivation to get up and walk. You are not a good person for being stagnant. You are a thief who is stealing a life from the person you were meant to become. Pay your debt. Assert your will. Step out of the comfort that is killing you and into the fire that will forge you. 4. The mirage of external change. Why your plans are lies, you love to talk about your plans. I see you making lists, buying books, and preparing for the big change you say is coming. This is the most sophisticated form of self-sabotage, using the appearance of movement to stay perfectly still. It is a comfortable lie because it allows you to feel the dopamine of progress without ever having to face the terror of actual action. You think that if you just change your environment, a new city, a new job, a new relationship, everything will be different. But you are the one who is bringing the you into the new environment. You are trying to fix an internal collapse by rearranging the furniture in a burning house. The comfort of a new setting is just a temporary distraction from the fact that your will is still paralyzed. The reason your life feels repetitive is not because of your circumstances, but because of your unconscious leakage. Your patterns are hard-coded into your psyche, and they will manifest in any environment you choose. You will recreate the same dramas, the same limitations, and the same comfort zones everywhere you go, because you are the one carrying the blueprints. You are waiting for the right conditions to be yourself, but the right conditions are a myth. Existence is inherently hostile to the individual. The world doesn't want you to be you. It wants you to be a predictable, manageable unit of production or consumption. If you wait for the world to give you a green light, you will die at the intersection. Your planning is actually a way of postponing the psychological birth. As long as you are getting ready, you don't have to be. You are living in a perpetual state of becoming. which is a very safe place because you can't fail at something you haven't actually started. It's the comfort of the rehearsal, where mistakes don't count. But life is a live performance with no script and no retakes. Every minute you spend rehearsing is a minute you are not performing. The discomfort of the stage, the lights, the audience, the risk of forgetting your lines, is the only place where reality happens. Your plans are just a way to stay in the wings, watching other people live. I want you to admit that your preparation is a symptom of your fear. You aren't being thorough. You are being a coward. You are looking for a certainty that does not exist in the human experience. You want to know the bridge is solid before you step on it, but the bridge only becomes solid as you step on it. You use logic and reason as shields against the irrational act of living. Living is not logical. It is a spontaneous assertion of the will. By trying to think your way into a new life, you are using the very tool that created your current prison. The mind is a great architect, but a terrible leader. It will always choose the comfort of a known cage over the danger of an unknown freedom. The external changes you seek are often just sidesteps to avoid the forward leap. You change your haircut, your diet, or your social media profile, and you feel a temporary relief. But that relief is just the comfort of a fresh coat of paint on a crumbling wall. It doesn't address the structural failure of your will. You are afraid of the total commitment that reality demands. You want to keep one foot in your old life just in case the new one doesn't work out. But you cannot be born halfway. You are either in the world or in the womb. This halfway existence is the most uncomfortable place of all, yet you call it comfort because it feels less final. Stop waiting for the click of everything falling into place. That click is the sound of a trap closing. The things that fall into place are the things that are dead. Living things are always out of place, always reaching, always slightly uncomfortable in their own skin. Your obsession with finding the right path is a way to avoid the fact that you have to hack your own path through the jungle. There is no path waiting for you. There is only the machete in your hand and the forest in front of you. The comfort of following someone else's path is the comfort of being a follower, not an individual. I see you looking for hacks and shortcuts to bypass the struggle, but the struggle is the point. The discomfort of the effort is what burns away the dross of your old self. If you could skip the struggle, you would arrive at your destination as the same weak person who started, and you wouldn't be able to hold the ground you gained. Your plans are your ego's way of keeping control. Reality is messy, unpredictable, and often humiliating. By staying in the world of plans, you avoid the humiliation of reality. But a person who has never been humiliated by reality has never truly engaged with it. Throw away your lists. Stop talking about what you are going to do. The only thing that exists is what you are doing now. If you are currently sitting in comfort, then your plan is to stay in comfort. Everything else is just fiction you tell yourself so you can sleep at night. The psychological birth requires a leap into the dark. You cannot see where you will land. If you could see it, it wouldn't be a birth. It would just be a relocation. The discomfort of the unknown is the only indicator that you are actually moving toward a new reality. 5. The saboteur in the mirror. Why you destroy your own success. Whenever you get close to a breakthrough, whenever the comfort of your cage is threatened by a glimpse of real freedom, you pull the trigger on your own life. I see you picking fights, forgetting deadlines, or slipping back into old addictions just as things are starting to go well. You call this bad luck or self-destructive behavior, but I call it the will to fail, a desperate attempt to return to the safety of the known. You are more comfortable with a familiar failure than an unfamiliar success. Success is terrifying because it places you in a new territory where you are responsible for maintaining a higher standard. Failure, however, is a warm, dark blanket you've worn for years. You know how to be a failure. You don't know how to be a creator, and that ignorance scares you to your core. Self-sabotage is the mechanism by which you maintain the comfort of your self-image. If you believe you are broken or unlucky, then you don't have to try. Every time you succeed, you prove that your excuses were lies, and your ego cannot handle that level of exposure. You would rather destroy your life than admit that you were capable of living it all along. This unconscious leakage happens because you haven't integrated your will. You have a conscious desire for growth, but a much more powerful unconscious desire for safety. When these two collide, the desire for safety always wins because it's fueled by your deepest primal fears. You are sabotaging yourself to save yourself from the stress of being great. You are addicted to the comfort of the struggle. For some of you, the identity of the struggling artist, the misunderstood soul, or the victim of trauma is a cozy little nest. If you actually solved your problems, who would you be? You are afraid of the vacuum that would be left if your misery was removed, so you cling to your pain like a security deposit. I see you choosing partners who will hold you back, or jobs that will drain your energy, precisely because they provide an external reason for your stagnation. So it's a perfect setup. You can complain about them while secretly thanking them for giving you an excuse to stay in your comfort zone. You are using other people as anchors to keep your ship from ever leaving the harbor. The discomfort of being truly seen, of having your talents recognized and your potential challenged, is more than you can bear. So you dim your light. You play small. You make jokes about your incompetence. You are practicing a slow social suicide to avoid the risk of being an individual who stands out. Every time you almost make it, you find a way to trip at the finish line. This is not an accident. It is a tactical retreat. You are retreating to the comfort of the almost, which is the most dangerous place of all. The almost allows you to maintain the fantasy of "I could have," without ever having to face the reality of "I did and it wasn't enough." You need to recognize that your inner critic is actually a guardian of the status quo. It's not trying to make you better. It's trying to keep you safe by making you feel too small to act. It uses discomfort as a weapon to drive you back into the comfort of your limitations. Your self-sabotage is a refusal to grow up. It is the eternal child, puer aeternus, throwing a tantrum because the world of reality is harder than the world of play. You want the toys of adulthood, the respect, the money, the love, but you don't want the discomfort of the labor and the risk that earns them. I want you to look at your failures and see them for what they are. Choices. You chose to sleep in. You chose not to make the call. You chose to believe the voice that said, "It's not worth it." You are not a victim of your sabotage. You are the perpetrator. This realization is the most uncomfortable thing you will ever face. If you are the one doing it, then you are the only one who can stop it. You can no longer wait for a savior or for your luck to change. You have to face the fact that you are your own worst enemy and that the comfort you seek is the weapon you are using against yourself. The only way to break the cycle of sabotage is to embrace the discomfort of success. You have to be willing to be new, You have to be willing to inhabit a version of yourself that you don't recognize yet. This feels like a death, and in a way, it is. It is the death of the saboteur so that the creator can breathe. Stop being so loyal to your dysfunctions. They haven't served you. They have only kept you comfortable while your life passed you by. You don't owe your past self anything. You don't owe your traumas a lifetime of devotion. The next time you feel the urge to pull back, to take a break, just as things are getting intense, or to doubt yourself when you should be acting, recognize it as the siren song of the womb. It's a lie. The comfort it promises is the comfort of the void. Stay in the heat. Stay in the tension. That is where the birth happens. 6. The psychological birth, the agony of becoming. To truly live is to be in a constant state of being born, and birth is never comfortable. It is a violent, terrifying transition from a world where you are everything to a world where you are a small, vulnerable Most of you have never actually been born. You have merely physically aged while remaining psychologically umbilical corded to your fears, your parents, and your society. The comfort you cling to is the placenta of your old life. You are afraid to let go because you think that without it, you will die. But the truth is the opposite. If you stay attached to it, you will rot. The psychological birth requires you to breathe the cold air of independence, to stand on your own 2 feet, and to realize that you are fundamentally alone in your responsibility. This aloneness is not a tragedy. It is the prerequisite for freedom. As long as you are comfortable in your dependencies, you are a slave. You are waiting for someone to tell you you're okay, to tell you what to do, to provide the meaning for your life. Means a born individual provides their own okay, their own direction, and their own meaning. The discomfort you feel when you make a truly independent decision, one that goes against everything you've been taught, is the first breath of a new life. It hurts. It burns the lungs. It makes you want to cry out for the safety of the old way. But if you can endure that first breath, you will realize that you are finally, for the first time, actually alive. You have spent your life trying to fit in, but the goal of the psychological birth is to fit out. To be an individual is to be a misfit in the world of the collective. You must be willing to endure the discomfort of being misunderstood, judged, and even hated by those who are still asleep in the comfort of the herd. I am not offering you happiness. Happiness is a transient emotion that often depends on comfort. I am offering you experience, the full, raw, terrifying, and exhilarating experience of being an individual will in a world of resistance. This is much harder than being happy, but it is the only thing that is real. The comfort of your current life is a simulation. You are playing a game with low stakes because you are afraid of the discomfort of the real game. But the real game is the only one that pays out in meaning. Every time you assert yourself, every time you create something from your own will, you are adding to the reality of the world. You must become your own mother and your own father. You must provide yourself with the structure and the nourishment that you used to seek from the outside. This is the ultimate discomfort, the realization that there is no one coming to save you, and that you are the only one who can authorize your existence. I see you recoiling from this. You want the comfort of being a child forever. You want the world to be a giant nursery where you are kept safe and fed. But the nursery is a prison for the adult. Your depression, your boredom, and your comfort-induced malaise are just your adult self trying to break out of the nursery. The psychological birth is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Every morning, you must decide whether to crawl back into the comfort of your habits or to step out into the discomfort of your potential. Every choice is a birth or a miscarriage of the self. You are terrified of the guilt of being different. But I tell you that the only real guilt is the guilt of being the same. To be the same is to betray the unique spark of will that was given to you. You are a biological miracle that is currently acting like a piece of wallpaper. That is the true tragedy. The comfort you feel is the anesthesia of the soul. It makes the surgery of life less painful, but it also ensures that you never wake up to see the results. I want you to wake up. I want you to feel the discomfort of your nerves being alive, of your will being active, and of your life being in your own hands. Stop asking for peace. Peace is for the dead. Ask for the strength to handle the discomfort of being alive. Ask for the courage to be an individual in a world of clones. Ask for the will to create yourself out of the raw material of your fears. You have been comfortable long enough. It has almost killed you. Now it is time to be born. It is time to step out of the womb of your habits and into the world of your will. It will be the hardest thing you ever do, and it will be the only thing you ever do that truly matters. You have a choice. You can stay comfortable and continue to die, or you can embrace the discomfort and finally start to live. Your safety is your cage, your routine is your shroud, and your peace of mind is a symptom of your spiritual extinction. The life you are waiting for is on the other side of the fear you are avoiding. Stop seeking a sanctuary and start seeking a battlefield, for it is only in the struggle of the will that an individual is ever truly born. You are not safe. You are just wasted. Get out of your own way before the grave does it for you.